Oh, good morning. I slept about 3 hours last night. I don't know what to tell y'all. Yeah, hey, I have to do something about that chat box. It just occurred to me you can't really read anything against that yellow background. Probably have to do something about that at some point. Oh, the joys of live streaming where I can't go back and just like change these things. Okay, hey, all right, let's pop in a game because yeah, let's play some fucking Guild Wars. Alrighty then. Well, I have like zero planned here. The first thing that we're gonna do though is we're all going to give applause to Caddy for yet another legendary last night. So Caddy is now like legendary Caddy is her new name. And yeah, there we go with the bow and everything. Wow, you're like a role player. You put the RPG in the MMORPG. That was fantastic. So yeah, I don't have really anything planned this morning. Yeah. Let's see. What have I been doing this week? Spent last night coming up with this little meme support ish ranger ish build that kind of does a little bit of damage. So I've been messing around with that. I did some raiding this week. I did a couple of other things. I'm going to touch on one thing though. I didn't get a video other than the balance with bears this week, and I was really planning to. And the reason why I didn't get the video out is because I sat down to start working on it. And hey, Caddy, somebody is like complimenting you there. They said you're pretty. They are right. Wow. Lady Dragonfly is your biggest fashion fan. True though, you are pretty. So there we go. So really what happened was I sat down to start working on this video, and the next thing you know, I am redesigning the intro. No, wasn't talking to me. It was talking to you. There you go. So I was redesigning the intro of the videos. I was redoing all the lower thirds, and 2 days later, I think I'm ready to make videos, build videos again. So there is that. So what I thought I would do is I would just show you guys what I've been up to this week. So I'm going to put this up here on the screen. Hopefully I don't have the sound wrong, so to speak. But for those of you interested, I'm going to run the intro of the new engineer build video that I'm running on. So you'll get a preview of the intro, and then the new title sequence, and a quick look at the new lower thirds. So you get a quick look at that. So I'm gonna put that up right now, if I can figure out how.
Let's look at this new weapon, which plays a song of death to the enemy. It was just a piece of pipe with a shoulder stock, hand grips, sights, and an electric gadget that fires the rocket. An electric wire shoots a spark into the powder charge when you pull the trigger. A lot depends on that wire. Now let's take up sighting and aiming. The first step is range estimation. It should be constantly practiced by estimating the ranges to prominent points on the terrain which have been previously measured. Estimation of the range to moving targets should be especially practiced.
So there you have it. Little preview for those of you guys watching the stream or on VOD or whatever. But that has been what I've been working on all week, so it'll be much easier to get new build videos up once I've got that done. I may not be the quickest worker these days, but I am on it. Let us take a look at the chat, so to speak, so just bear with me. Oh, I'm glad you guys like that. All right, cool. Put some Hans Zimmer music on it and drama has been achieved. No doubt. Okay, thank you. Thank you guys very much. Cyrillus Wolf, welcome to the stream. Glad you enjoyed that. That's fantastic. So that is what I was working on this week. And I banged out that Balance with Bears thing, which took a few hours of clever Photoshop editing. And what can I tell you guys? That's kind of where I was at on that. And that is my week. I will have more content hopefully next week in terms of YouTube videos. And that I thought I would touch base on. So what we have here is Robin has fashioned herself up as a catalyst. Oh, that retinal burn cape. Wow, I have that too. I don't know what to tell you. That cape just hurts my eyes no matter what color I have on it. It just, it's painful. Yeah, so there was that. I actually did more than a few raids and strikes this week. I spent most of my time in there. Yes, it is. It's Big Burn. It's absolutely. Hey, look, I am no stranger to retinal burn. I'm not casting aspersions there. You've seen a couple of my tunes. My catalyst is particularly. Hey, is that the full? Oh wow, that is quite the chair you got there. Was that the full hammer you got there, Robin, or was that the early version of the hammer? All right. Res Evil, welcome to the stream. Glad you could join us on our Saturday morning derp. There we go. So what are we running on this here on your Catalyst class hammer? Okay, so yeah, the full version of that, the one that you get after doing everything, is actually really good. Oh no, yeah, no, that's Gravity. No, you got it. Yeah, I don't have that yet. I'll be honest with you guys. I haven't done any of the elite spec weapons for End of Dragons, and really it's just the story run throughs. I've done one story run through at this point, and that really is it. I haven't gone any further than that, to be honest with you guys. I don't have it in me to do a whole bunch of multiple power, precision, vite, ferocity with strength runes. So you're really running either dragons or marauders on that, which is, I would say, a wise choice. Some strength runes. Just gonna catch up with the chat here. What is your favorite class for open world or general PvE? Out of the medium ones, it's engineer, Peter. It's absolutely engineer. I'll play a little bit of ranger. I think thief really needs a little bit of love, to be honest with you, for open world. I don't think thief is in a great spot. That said, Spectre is really powerful. But I mean, Daredevil, maybe not so much. I'm really not a fan of Deadeye. Deadeye is probably about my least favorite elite spec out of all of them. But Engineer can be played in many different ways, and it is pretty much the best thing going these days. You can play Rifle Mech, you can play Scrapper for the quickness, you can play Holosmith, which... I mean, if anybody asks me what my favorite, my favorite build is for open world these days, it's still going to be Celestial Holosmith. That's just what I'm running. Zoro, thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed. A little more background on what I am running today here. Last night, I thought, what would happen if I ran my Ranger in Seraph's gear? So yeah, I put Seraph's gear on my druid. Just to play around with the healing potential and the boon duration. Basically, seeing if I could perma alacrity in this really kind of wacky gear set. Do I need wings? I don't want wings. Who needs wings? Robin needs wings? Maybe Robin needs wings. So yeah. Yeah, this is my Seraph's Ranger. To be honest with you guys, this probably won't last very long, but had some spare rings around, so I decided to give it a shot. Catching up with the chat here. Deadeye, the one I thought I would use as my story tune. Deadeye, the one I regretted choosing immediately as my story tune. I did one interesting thing ever with Deadeye, which was to do a boon thief. And it was interesting because really what you can do is perma might and fury, or you could do it on 10 people, which you can't anymore. Might, fury, and a couple of other boons, like at one key press. It's absolutely crazy. But these days, I mean, if you're playing support and you're not offering like quickness or alacrity, there really isn't a whole lot of reason for it. Lazy Man, hi dude, how are you? And thanks for all your videos. It's useful in cheap builds. It's newbie friendly. It helps me a lot. Hey, Lazy Man, totally my pleasure. To be honest with you guys, just absolutely my pleasure, and I'm glad you're taking value from the content. I really am. Guillaume Delacroix. Hi, man. In your opinion, is Quick Healed Herald here to stay? Mm, for me, I need to see another tweak in it. I need to see another really substantial tweak in Quick Heal Herald, to be honest with you. The problem isn't while you are in Herald. While you're in Herald, it's great. But the moment you move out of Herald, you pretty much lose the quickness. Though I will say that Nike put up an interesting build this week. Where he is permeating quickness on a Condi build using Firebrand runes. Kind of cool. But in terms of the heal, the moment you pop over into Ventari on it, you really start feeling the drag trying to keep up your quickness. And maybe somebody's got a little bit better sense of it than I do, but at this point, I'm just not a fan. Res Evil, what's your best pets? These days, I mean, on this build, I'm running just a couple of I'm running the dragon, for the burn patch, for the burn on it, because I'm trying to do a little bit of Condi damage at the same time as keeping up the heals and alacrity, and I'm running the plant, dude, the Jacaranda. In terms of the overall best pets, it kind of depends on the build. For Condi, I'm always going to go back to the Lynx, and for some of the other ones, it's going to be situational. Really going to depend on the actual stuff. So while I've got you guys here to do some damage for me, let's go kill something big, like a bounty or something, and let's see how my little meme build here does, and then we'll move on. I'm probably going to move over to my Tempest here in a little bit. We'll move on from there, but yeah, let's do this, shall we? To quote Josh Wiseman, and pull this up. So that is all the news this week. Obviously followed the big kill from last week, the Harvest Temple CM, which I thought was absolutely fantastic for the game. So good for the game. Wow. Seeing people from Limit talking about it on their podcasts with Teapot and stuff like that, that was great. And really just an exciting thing to watch. Watching Snow Crows and Hardstuck kind of go at it was really cool. Seeing them compete for the world's first and everything. I thought that was absolutely amazing for the game. Just such a cool thing, and I hope they don't nerf it too much. I mean, I'm sure they will. They'll hit it up a little bit, but yeah, I thought that was fantastic this week. Oh, let's go heal this guy over here. Somebody has died. I will save you. I'm gonna get a little bit of volume up as well while we are here. Okay. Not sure that actually worked. Options. Let's try this again, shall we? Totally didn't. Okay, well, this is what happened last week as well. Oh well, won't worry about it too much. Let's go and kill this bounty and see what happens, my friends. Let's put up some alacrity here for y'all. So yeah, running this in Seraphs just as an experiment. Really, I was kind of playing with the whole bleed on crit with the precision, and then just doing the normal heal and alacrity kind of thing. So it's doing all right. I'm pretty sure it's mostly keeping up the alacrity. The heals are real anyways, as long as I work the mechanics. Let's get you a heal there. Splash that on you. All right. Well, we're doing okay. So did any of you guys come up with anything interesting this week is another question. Oops. No. There we go. That mechanic is just brutal. Would be the next question if any of you guys came up with anything interesting this week. I guess we got the document yesterday from Josh. Wow, that was interesting, I guess. I don't know what to tell you guys. This balance patch has been pretty weird, and seeing the rationale behind it, I'm not sure really helped. Because there was a couple of things that I found really frustrating about that post. They were talking about the alacrity for Elementalist and saying, well, you know, we expect this to be viable under fresh air. It's like, well, is that the only real? Yeah, and Sela, yeah, you're absolutely right, Sela. They didn't mention about the arms thing or anything like that, and wow, I don't know. Sometimes lately, I don't know. Oh well, I won't fret too much. It wasn't a disastrous balance patch, but the other thing was obviously wasn't, fantastic, so to speak. I think a couple of the changes were questionable at best. The warrior stuff was obviously disastrous. The Quickness Herald thing was a massive disappointment to me, and the alacrity. Seeing them say that they expected the alacrity only to be permed on fresh air, and then you go and you try and play it under anything else, and it becomes a frustrating experience. And it didn't have to be that way. It really didn't have to be that way. So yeah, strange days indeed, so to speak. Oh, hi, Striker. So my cat just popped up here. I'll catch up a chat in a moment here, but we will take this out. So I'm not sure my duration on these boons is really what it needs to be. I don't have boon table up, but it's not bad. It's not bad. The heals are real, though. I'll give it that. So, let's kill these dudes over here. And, I'm probably going to do a little bit more futzing with this. Probably go ahead and put it in Celestial or something. As an NG main, I can't complain. It feels a lot of fun to play. If you're a power NG, that balance patch was really nice, but I'm just not sure NG needed the bump. The good news is, that patch came out, and the build that I showed the intro for this week, I played in a couple raids One of them without the emboldened, and was top DPS on a pug raid in a mix of Berserker and Diviner's gear. So I was top DPS on a pug raid while still permeating Alacrity. So that was pretty cool. Gonna get your NG. I'm not solid on this rotation yet. Robin, the rotation on Catalyst is really it's a bit of a mind bender. You know, it's like anything else with Elementalist. It takes a few minutes to kind of get your head around. But the other thing is, it's a bit of a tapper. It's a better of a tapper. It doesn't matter to me because I'm just a casual player, but seeing all the players start to complain about the core mechanics of the game itself is kind of weird. Well, you know, that's going to happen in any MMO, to be honest with you. Those complaints about balance and core mechanics and stuff are, you know, that's standard MMO complaining, to be honest with you. I just think that some of the changes may not have been as well thought out as others. And mainly, it wasn't that they did anything that damaged the game for me, because I don't think they really did anything to damage the game for anything but warrior mains. But it did mean that there was, you know, there was some ideas in my head about things that were possible once you were talking about, you know, Alacrity on Tempest and Alacrity on Druid here, or I guess not even on Druid, on Core Ranger. Or the quickness on Herald. The quickness on Herald was really hurtful, to be honest with you. When you look at what it takes to maintain quickness on other specs, it's just painful. Really just painful. Yummy Katsu, good morning and welcome. And yes, absolutely. NG did not need the bump. NG was a little bit overpowered. I'm not going to say it's drastically overpowered. It's not a Firebrand thing, but the thing is, when you had some other things that are really not in a great spot, and then you go and you see these buffs to a spec that really is already, you know, really kind of fulfilling its role fairly well. It's a little bit strange to watch. But the good news is that rifle is a lot of fun. The rifle is totally a lot of fun. I am a big fan of that rifle gameplay. You really can just sit there and easily kind of pew pew on everybody. I mean, I didn't play it in World versus World, though I understand Caddy did a little bit of play in World versus World on a rifle mechanist. Let's get some bigger heals on you. Fun as hell, according to Caddy. That is the objective metric. Is it like metric funds, or, you know? Let's get that happening up here. Catch up with chat in a moment. So the Alacrity seems pretty close to perma, you know, in this Seraph scanner, which is interesting. So there's probably something here that's going to take a little bit of thought to it. But at this point, you know, that's pretty solid support, particularly for the green numbers, which weren't all always great. So there we go. Let's clear out some trash mob and get out of here, and I will catch up with the chat. You know what? That was easy. All right. Catching up with the chat, watching you while making blueberry pancakes. Holy shit. Blueberry pancakes sounds really freaking good right now, to be honest with you. Or waffles. I don't know. I've had a thing with waffles. Just wish they buff power damage a little more, because plain power damage right now is not really fun. I mean, there's some that are fun, Celia. I can think, I hear Rangers in a really good spot again. Somebody put up a guide showing like a 60k burst on that. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, there's some really good power builds out there. I think Power Rifle Mac is in a pretty good spot. Let's see, Zeke. Let's grab Zeke here. And some of the others. To be fair, Rifle was shit on NG. Oh, it absolutely was. Absolutely, Peter. Rifle was Rifle was absolutely the worst engineer weapon. And yeah, and it deserved buffs. But I think the problem with the patch was we were expecting those kind of buffs on a lot more than just rifle power NG. You know, we were expecting that level of things. So yeah, I mean, I think that the changes were absolutely fantastic to power NG. To be honest with you, but first off, you know, did it need it? And second off, you know, if it didn't need it, you know, why weren't we looking at some of the things that did need it? And if that change was so successful, why were the changes to Herald so bad? And you know, the changes to, you know, the alacrity changes for Tempest were not great. I mean, they're cool, and I'll pull my Alac Tempest out here in a minute, give you guys, you know, an idea of what I came up with, and they're okay. I mean, they're playable, but it certainly isn't, you know, like Mechanist where I'm spamming one button or two buttons really, and that my auto attacks are permeating alacrity. Wow, you guys just burned this thing. Look at you guys go. All right. Go Power NG and Firebrand, Celestial Firebrand. You guys just burned that thing. That was beautiful. Let's see. My hobby even changed from his Ranger to play NG a bit. And I think that's a problem, you know, when you go and you see just how many NGs are in any group, and it's not just, you know, instanced content, it's open world content, it's pretty much everywhere, and you see the mech everywhere, you start to, you know, understand that maybe it's overperforming a little. I think Rifle NG was a worthy improvement, but overall the buffs to NG were a little bit over the top. Well, I mean, it didn't buff the builds that were already ridiculously powerful. You know, it didn't buff the Condi build. It didn't buff. Well, it's this way. It didn't buff the Condi build. You know, it was just like, did Mechanist need more? You know, and you think, well, the difference between, say, Condi Virtuoso and Power Virtuoso is much wider than, you know, the difference between Power and Condi on Mechanist. I mean, I don't know how much I feel about this. I don't really have a huge dog in this hunt, so to speak. I'll just engage here, and I'll catch up on chat in a moment. So the Champion Man-Eater, this is like the one that Hall & Oates are really afraid of. And, you know, if you got that joke, you're old like me. All right. So these, what actually is surprising me most about this Druid build is just how good the heal numbers are. They really are spectacular. But again, you know, Seraph's gear. Go. I'm not sure it's going to stay in the Seraph's gear, to be honest with you guys. It's just, I have this dream that at some point in my gaming of Guild Wars 2, Seraph's gear will be worth something. Just always seemed like such an interesting gear set. I've tried it a little bit on Firebrand. I used to run this build when Path of Fire first launched. I would run this build where you would just kind of support people in massive groups. It was like a Zerg support for open world in Seraph's gear, and it was funny because you'd find yourself at the top of the open world DPS charts as well as doing these massive healing numbers. Right, it was really cool. But I'm not sure it's really worth investing into the healing, or sorry, into the Condi damage on this if you're really kind of trying to try hard. All right. I wish I'd loved Scrapper, but I'm not sure how much Diviner to use, what skills to run, etc. to get high damage. Scrapper is one I really need to revisit at some point. I love Scrapper. I was running Scrapper in just Marauder's gear with pack runes and pretty close to able to upkeep the quickness with some food, I think it was. But again, at that point, all you're doing is using your gyros off cooldown just to keep the quickness up, which is not awful gameplay, but it's it's gets back to the same problem that I think Harold is having, to be honest with you guys. Wow, we're just going to do all the bounties here. This has just been crazy. That was like the funny intro moment I did on the last video. It made me laugh when they all jumped off their mounts. Absolutely. That was absolutely fantastic. I love that. I main Thief Daredevil, and the stat damage is kind of lackluster. Plus, they nerfed the regen, so it's really hard to sustain. Sela, here's the thing. You know what? I didn't even take that bounty. Sorry, guys. Let me go back and take that. Daredevil is not in a great spot for open world. It really isn't. If you want to go all in on the power DPS, it's absolutely fine. But even before the invigorating precision nerf that happened at the launch of End of Dragons, it still wasn't in a magnificent spot. It really wasn't. It was in steak dinner and banners. Let us grab said steak dinner and banners. And by the way, before I go on, if you are wanting to just chill out, do some craziness with us, feel free to send me a tell in game to myincircus.1506 and come and hang out. We'll just beat randomly on some shit while I flap my gums for a little while. But going back, you know what? I kind of feel... Oh, yeah, Thief. Thief is, Spectre aside, really not in a good place in open world. There are two classes that are not in a great spot for open world. Thief being one with the exception of Spectre, and Warrior being the other with the exception of... With the exception of Blade Swarm, which I think is okay, it's doing all right. But when it comes to the rest, I don't know. It's just not what I would hope it would be, to be honest with you guys. When it comes to what I want to play on any given day, Daredevil is the class I want to like the most. But the problem is the lack of sustain. Its damage is not any higher than some of the classes that are doing 15 things at once. It's obviously not Firebrand or anything, which is to be expected, but it's also not Condi Renegade in terms of its damage, and Condi Renegade in terms of its damage is it's not the hugest damage in the world. It's definitely livable. So when you look at something, that's doing comparable damage in open world and isn't providing all the things that Mechanist, Firebrand, Catalyst, Tempest, all these other really interesting classes, or even Ranger now, are providing, then, you run into this question, why am I playing Thief? What is the actual benefit of playing Thief in open world? And other than Spectre, it just doesn't feel like it's there, to be honest with you guys. Look at you guys are savages just burning this thing down. Let us bring it up. Scrapper needs a nerf in World versus World. I don't know if you can nerf Scrapper in World versus World. Caddy and I have had this conversation many times. She is a big Scrapper enjoyer in World versus World. You can scrap it. Well, no, I don't think you can. I don't think you can nerf Scrapper in World versus World. And the reason why is that the the Condi cleanse is so far part of the meta these days, and the only thing that can touch Scrapper in terms of raw Condi cleanse numbers is Tempest, and Tempest is an arc build. Tempest isn't providing nearly the value that Scrapper is in World versus World. Tempest is a really great build for people who like to look at their arc numbers and go, look what I can do. But it isn't providing nearly any of the value that say Scrapper is in World versus World. Now, you say, well, does it need to be nerfed in World versus World? I don't think it does. I don't think you can. I think you need something to keep up with the Condis that are flying around. You need to be able to cleanse those. You need to be able to cleanse them in a manner, that leverages purity of purpose. And once you take that out of the equation, if you were to take Firebrand and its stability or Scrapper and its Condi cleanse out, what does the game look like at that point? How are you mitigating at that point? We will wait for midnight to come back here, and I will catch up. I wish I could join, but I'm still at work. Well, you should probably quit your job. That, I think, is probably the right solution, to be honest with you guys. So I think we're ready for the legendary Forged Tormentor. All right, we're gonna legendary this shit up at this point. So yeah, I mean, everybody has been saying, I say everybody, a lot of people have been saying for quite a while, and I got to say for about a year and a half, Scrapper's going to get, its snoot booped in World versus World, or Guardian's going to get its snoot booped in World versus World, and it just doesn't happen. And I just don't think, I think it doesn't happen because the game becomes really unhealthy at that point. In World versus World, I think it becomes seriously unhealthy. Ooh, so this is gonna hurt. I'm not sure I can keep up with this kind of damage output, but we will see what happens here. How untamed is solo and PvE now? I don't know how to translate the patch notes. Apparently it's really good, to be honest with you, the Red Pharaoh. It got a damage bump this week, which obviously is always a good thing. I haven't played it, to be honest with you. I have been, oh no, I gotta catch you. Nope, you are burned. You are burned to the ground. And this thing is doing hella damage. Let's make sure we are working these mechanics. Champion Healing Coalescence. I just don't know. My friends. So, I don't pretend to have all the answers. I don't play nearly as much World versus World as, say, Caddy does. I kind of go on and off with my love affair for the game mode. Ooh. Try and get some heals on y'all, but I am struggling mightily. Oh, nope. And there we go. Yeah, no, those burns are real. That would be Scorcher. Ask Caddy how she feels about Scorcher. Caddy loves Scorcher. So there we go. I did switch for Ranger over this weekend. I'll check to Untamed, but I know. Yeah, the thing about it is I'm really intrigued about the alacrity thing. You guys know me. I'm big on kind of the hybrid supporty kind of gameplay. It's always been my personal favorite. But I guess in the Harvest Temple win that Snowcrows got when they did the World First, their top DPS was a Power Ranger using double axes. I think Mr. Mystic's got a video on it, so you may want to check that out. But my thinking about Untamed was it wasn't awful to begin with. I was really enjoying Untamed to be honest with you guys. I don't think it was terrible. I think it was actually in a pretty good place. Minus some damage. Oh, I got you this time. There we go. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Untamed. Fair point. Remember the day? Yeah. Oh God. Scourge with the back in the day, and I want to say that was right after the launch of Path of Fire, when Scourge launched, and Epidemic was still out of control. Oh God, Scourge was such cancer. But then you go into World versus World groups, and you'd see like 50 people on a 50 people squad running Scourge. It was absolutely ridiculous. Well, we got some help on this, you guys, but I think we have managed to show our superiority over this legendary bounty. So there we go, catching up. Difference between core games and expansions. Yeah, Happy Souls, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us this Saturday morning. Absolutely. Scourge was sick when it came out. World versus World. I don't think I played anything but Scourge in World versus World for the first 6 months after Path of Fire launched. I was doing some ridiculous things on Scourge, and it was just so utterly busted just from a basic design standpoint. It was absolutely outrageous, and you hear the laughter in my voice because some of the stuff you could pull off was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's grab this dude here. Yeah, it was absolutely Yummy Cats. It was absolutely gross. For everybody who's pointed at something that was busted on release in this game, Scourge in its original iteration for any game mode, the way Scourge came out of the box for Path of Fire, that was just really one of those moments that had you scratching your head about QA. Like, who is doing the QA for this game? Because I tell you what, when I used to work QA, if we had not given some feedback that got that changed, we would feel pretty bad, to be honest with you guys. We got Scorcher again on this one, so keep yourself steady. Oh, great! We have both Scorcher and Polluter, just because that is what we needed. Think we'll change up after this one. I'm gonna pop on my Elementalist. Ronnie, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on our Saturday morning derp session. It is good to see you, and all of you who are watching, joining us here. Just want to say thank you so much for making this part of your week. Without getting into it, it's just always nice to kind of just hang out with you guys for a little while. Shoot the shizzle for Rizzle. My biggest beef with Untamed when I tested it was that swapping through Untamed felt too much like another implementation of swapping through Soul Beast. My original feeling and the way I actually felt about it during the beta was there just didn't feel like there was any compelling reason to play it over Core Ranger. It didn't feel any better than Core Ranger in the beta. I am getting pummeled. And that, I think, was really what felt problematic to me. But I'll go back to this a fair bit. It was watching Paper Rolls videos on Untamed that really kind of helped me to figure out the way that it really should be played. It was just one of those kind of situations where I'll run into this every once in a while where another content creator's just got such a good handle on a class. And I felt bad because really I mained Ranger for a very long time. I really should have kind of gotten a better handle on it. But I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Untamed, and I should probably check it out after the buffs this week. Had lots of technical issues. Finally getting them resolved. Ronnie, technical issues are the thing I struggle with most on any given day. Paper Roll is the Ranger go-to guy. He is absolutely the Ranger go-to guy. But it's really rare that a content creator will show me where the fun is. You know, I get ideas from other content creators all the time, and I'm always pretty forthright when I'm stealing something from somebody. I'm like, here, you know, I stole this from so and so, or I stole that from so and so. But with Paper Roll, it wasn't that he was, you know, showing me how to build it or how to play it. He was just showing where the fun in the spec was. And I think that that's really what was missing. That was really what was missing. And it's very rare that there's only been one other content creator that's been able to show me where the fun is in things. And that is Boots, World of Enders, who consistently shows me where the fun in this game is. And if you guys have never watched World of Enders or don't know who Boots is, he's pretty OG, and a few people have, you know, at this point have not maybe as familiar with his content as maybe in the past. Boots is the OG build guy. He would come up with these really amazing, entertaining builds. He still does. And just like these incredible synergies. He's just got this really amazing mind for the game. And he was the other guy that kind of showed me where the fun was in stuff. And that to me, you know, most anybody can show me, you know, where the numbers are. But for somebody to show me where the fun is, that is special as far as I'm concerned. So Paper is the man for that. I love how you told me how to juke peeps and his troll world versus world stuff is absolutely amazing. Oh, Valen put up a really good world versus world ranger troll thing this week too. If you guys are at all familiar with Valen's content, he put up something really cool as well. You should probably go check out. He's pretty amazing as well. So yeah, the Untamed thing, I'm a fan. I don't play it on a regular basis. It's not because I don't enjoy it. It's just because at this point, it's kind of one of those nuts I've cracked. I don't think there's a whole lot more I can personally do with Untamed at this point. Ronnie, oh yeah, Valen is the king of builds these days. There's just nobody that comes close to Valen in terms of build knowledge these days. And his, I mean, the other side is that Valen's got the ability to take, like, you know, anything and play the living shit out of it, which is not something that I always possess. I get over on some pretty spammy builds sometimes because I just don't possess that level of skill with the game. I'm gonna swap tunes for a moment, and let's see how we do with this. I'm gonna try this here. So this is something I've been messing with this week. I think I popped this up for a little bit last week. I've kind of got this into place where it needs to be. And we will grab a different bounty. I will just join you guys here. There we go. Back here. Let's see what we get. Absolutely, Gil. I'm not sure there's anybody that understands the game on his level at this point. Because he has a level of awareness that goes beyond just one game mode. While his endgame PvE stuff may not be where some of the other in-game PvE content creators are. Everything else is just light years beyond what anybody else is doing. It's crazy. And that's not to say that his in-game PvE stuff isn't viable. It absolutely is. So, yeah, I'm a fan. I am a big fan. So let us hunt down the awakened occultist and let us move on. Hard pressed to think about anybody else that maintains that high level of ability to explain. You don't have to.